Hey, it's Rachel, your mom friend in the kitchen, and today I'm showing you about a day that we had last fall where we made homemade applesauce with 5 kids and a newborn. Now, with so many kids in the house, it definitely was busy and messy, but it was also really, really fun.
Every fall, we love to pick our own apples, and this year, some friends of ours invited us out to pick apples with them where they live. The kids loved climbing the ladders and peeling apples to enjoy.
Wow.
That's cool.
You got it.
Here, like, see this? Yeah. See how it is here? And then wipe it on your shirt.
My brother, who works at a local farm, also brought a big box of apples for my son's 4th birthday, and those are the ones we ended up using to make the applesauce today. This variety ended up turning the applesauce pink, which was so bright and fun. Now, the process of making applesauce is actually a long-loved tradition in our family. My parents made applesauce with my siblings and I growing up, and it was well known that applesauce was my absolute favorite food, just ask my sisters. You could always find me helping in the kitchen and trying to sneak a little taste. For several years now, my mom has been coming over to help me and my kids make applesauce, and I just love that the tradition is continuing and that my kids get to grow up knowing and loving Applesauce Day just as much as I do.
So I homeschool, and every fall I try to take a fall break. And the week we were planning to take that break and to make homemade applesauce, my sister had her second baby, and it was so exciting. She actually had him on my second son's birthday, so they get to be birthday cousins. And just through some unique circumstances, it ended up that they came and stayed at our house for a week. And it just lined up perfectly where they got to be here. But because of that, we had my 10-month-old, her newborn, and then 4 other toddlers, so 6 kids in the house. So on this applesauce day, my sister got to snuggle up with her baby, and then we got to have fun with the little kids making applesauce. Thankfully, my mom, their Nana, came over, so that was also a huge lifesaver.
We started with a very wet process of washing all the apples. This really is the best part for getting the littlest ones to help, because they can throw and dump and pass apples no matter how old they are. Little Asher really liked making a splash.
I want to wash.
Once the apples were washed, we got to work cutting the apples. My 6-year-old and I cut the apples down some first, and then even the 4-year-old could help chop the apples as well. Usually we quarter them or sometimes even cut them smaller depending on how big the apple was to start.
Smash that board just in half.
Smash that board just in half. How's that apple?
Good.
Okay, now we know that Hosea's turn with the knife. Hosea's turn to chop. And of course, even the toddlers wanted to help. I love to include them in as many steps as I can, even if it slows down the process a little bit. Since we use a strainer to make this applesauce, we don't have to core them or take out the seeds. All that will get strained out later. Next, we filled a couple of big pots with the apples and just a little bit of water and set them to cooking. I also had some apple cider, so I included that too. Usually the first batch is cooking while we finish chopping up the second batch. Then the next step is to set up the strainer. This thing is ancient, but thankfully there's still instructions so we can get all the pieces together.
What's that? Slide it in, and then put that in, and then close that, and then yeah, that's how you do it.
The apples usually take 10 to 15 minutes to cook down really soft. It's fun to watch them simmer and bubble, and the smell is absolutely delicious.
Smells delicious.
Makes me want to eat it.
We're gonna let Asher do the first crank, okay? The kids love to take turns cranking and mashing, and it is always so exciting when that first bit of applesauce starts to come out of the machine.
There it is.
Applesauce.
Oh gosh, that looks like blood. Applesauce.
Oh, really? Applesauce.
The applesauce comes out one side while the peel, core, and seeds come out the other. Then we mixed in some fruit fresh to help keep it from turning brown.
Pink applesauce and pink bowl both match. They match.
Yeah, pink bowl and pink applesauce.
And pink mango chai both match.
Yeah.
After we've all had some tastes and the applesauce has cooled some, we gather the jars. Let's take this whole thing up and we'll use what we need. And spoon the applesauce in. You don't fill it all the way up to the top because it needs to have room to expand when it freezes. My mama taught me that. Sometimes we make some of it cinnamon and other times we leave it plain. Cinnamony?
No.
Not enough?
Yeah, no, I can't really taste anything.
Okay, a little bit more.
We have been two cinnamon. Sorry. Very good.
Everyone enjoyed bowls full of fresh homemade applesauce.
Give me some more Mommy, not, I have not had that much.
Okay, are you gonna crank?
Yes. I don't need.
Cameraman
Look at
taps.
that, was like this big of a bite.
We love to store the applesauce in the freezer and then bring out a jar for special occasions, or in deep winter when we are missing some of the freshness of summer and fall. If you're planning to freeze your applesauce, you don't want to screw the lids on all the way before it's all the way frozen. So usually I just screw it a little bit, but not tight. Once it's frozen, then I go back in and I'll tighten them all the way. Otherwise, if it's all the way tight, when it freezes and it expands, the pressure can make the jar crack or explode. It was another great day keeping the family tradition going with all the kids. We hope to keep making applesauce for many, many years to come.
Daddy, and you are an apple.
I'm an apple?
Yeah,
What are you?
a lemon.
A lemon.
And Mom is also an apple. You got